Hello, everyone. This is Karen at Opening Lives with Art, and I'd like to talk with you guys about Mother's Day and about grieving. And I actually like to ask for some advice from people who have lost their mothers um, or have lost their mothers recently, like I have. I have to say, I have no idea how to grieve. I mean, I did lose my father about 3 years ago. Um, and grieving for that kind of helped because we were able to gather around his bedside together as a family with a friend of his that was a minister. And we said some prayers and we traded stories and we were actually laughing around his bedside. And it was kind of nice, to share that. And we had a beautiful ceremony for him. It was really small, um, but it was so beautiful to come together and share a few stories and ideas and a memory box. And it was really special for my mom. She played their wedding song, their song. It was "Only You" by the Platters, and we each sort of played a song that we found was special to us and our father. Um, and that helped to have a funeral. And right now, with my mom passing away during the pandemic, I mean, I'm grateful she didn't actually die of COVID-19. She died of other other health problems, but she died quite suddenly. And I'm grateful that she didn't suffer alone a long time because I think that's what I found really difficult about it is knowing that she was suffering alone and that we couldn't go see her in the nursing home because of course we needed to protect her and all of the residents and staff from the possibility of COVID-19 getting into the residence. So, I wholeheartedly support that. um, Fortunately, her home has been COVID free because of the lockdown. And in some of the retirement homes, it's been so bad. And I would never wish that on anybody just because I wanted to see my mother and because I missed her. Um, but what I think was like, she found it really depressing that she couldn't see my one sister who would go to her almost every day or every couple of days to bring her things and help her out. And she was a great support to her. Um, and she missed being able to call her and talk with her. And she found that she was in a lot of pain and it was hard for her to get to the phone. And she didn't use like she didn't have an iPad or any of those things. She just had her cordless phone, but it didn't hold its charge, and so she couldn't get to the phone, and we didn't get to talk to her. And she was so unwell that she couldn't really talk to us anyway the last few days. Um, and she was transferred into the hospital and then palliative care to spend her last few days. And just the thought of her having to do that alone and not how like I don't know how much awareness she had, but it's just sad to think about her having her last days without her family being able to be with her at her bedside or hold her hand. Um, I have three sisters. Two of the sisters, we realized that our eldest sister really seemed to need to go see her. Um, and just emotionally, and for what was happening in her life, that we really thought she needed to go. And my other sister and I think we felt at peace with it. And we had relatively recently saw her just before they shut down, where my other sister had not. So we elected to say, you go. Um, And I'm grateful that my sister told me what it was like in her visit. But of course, the hospital can only allow one person to go in, so that they could again protect against the spread of COVID-19 and also protect their stores of the PPE, because like my sister said she was like gowned and double gloved and mask and face shield, so she felt all like um quite separated anyway from my mom, because she's all dressed up like that as if she's a health practitioner. And you lose a little bit of that closeness. But she was able to talk with her, and we know that she heard her because she had like little moans and sounds of response. And hearing is one of the longest lasting senses, we're told. So I'm so grateful that my sister was able to go in and talk with her and tell her some nice things, and just kind of come to a place of peace with her and share some tears. And so I'm really grateful that she did have that visit while she was still somewhat aware. So, and so, and I don't know how much awareness she had of her being alone or not. It's just for me, the thought of her being alone and the thought of me not being able to comfort her, um, that's what made me the most sad. Um, and then I was a bit sad for myself, not being able to see her, not being able to say goodbye. Um, I did get to speak with her earlier and tell her some nice thoughts, um, and then the week previous, I had talked with her a bit and told her some things I really wanted to say. So I know I'm grateful that I had that opportunity. So I guess what I'm asking is, for those of you that have lost a parent or a mother, um, I'm just finding it particularly more difficult because it's Mother's Day today. And normally I would call her. We often would send her flowers, or a card or something like that. I really just like talking to her on Mother's Day. And it's just so surreal not to be able to pick up the phone and call her. So the situation I'm in, is that I live in a different city from the town where my family lived, where my sisters are, and my mother lived. Um, and because of the shutdown, I'm separated from being with her, or being able to go and visit. And we elected not to hold a funeral because there's a limit of 10 people, including the staff of the funeral home. And we just thought it would be so hard to choose who should be there. And um and we just thought, what, and not being able to hug and all those things, we just said, what, let's wait. Let's hold a ceremony after, when we can get together in person. um, and which is great, and it makes sense and all of that. And I don't think it's good to be traveling. And I have a daughter I have to be careful of because she's in a risk factor zone, and so is my sister. Both of my sisters have risk factors, and I wouldn't want to spread anything to them by accident, even though I've been very careful to follow the stay-at-home order. But I do live in a more populated area, so I just feel kind of conflicted, and I guess I'm just looking to hear from your stories. What are you going through? If you've been through this before, do you have any helpful advice for me? Now, um, like I just don't know how to feel, what to feel. It doesn't seem real to me, I guess because I'm isolated in a different town. I didn't help move out my mother's things out of her unit, where my sisters and nephews were able to do that because she lived on the ground floor, so they could get into the home to move out their things. And the home could clean out that unit and be able to give it to somebody else. So that was fortunate. And and I think for my nephews who found it so sad to lose their grandmother, and in such a way where they couldn't see her to say goodbye, I think they found it really hard to move her things out. And my sister, you know, found that challenge as well. And I know that those kinds of things are hard to do. Like, I was talking to another friend who's cleaning out her father's house, who passed away. Um, I think it was last during the winter time, and before any of this happened. But she was having to clean out his home, and how it was just this other stage of grieving to go through, to have to go through all those things. And um, I guess as hard as that is, I kind of feel like I'm missing out on part of the grieving process, like no funeral, um, no celebration of life, no unpacking and moving, and no going to the funeral home to make arrangements. Like, it just doesn't seem real to me. That's what's so strange about this lockdown situation. It's not just that I couldn't be with my mom when she died, but I couldn't be with my family to help them. So it's been a lot of work for all of them. I feel kind of, I don't know, a little bit guilty that I can't help because I live far away. Like, I know it makes it easier for me that I don't have to deal with all of that. At the same time, I feel kind of bad that I'm not able to help. Um, and then I feel like I'm missing part of the grieving process, so it doesn't seem real to me. Because I would go visit, I don't know, every couple of months, and I would call, I don't know, once a week, once every 2 weeks, something like that, and have a brief conversation with my mom. Um, and so it just feels like it's like in between visits, and I have to keep telling myself she's not there anymore. Imagine her unit, I can see her in her, you know, um, independent living apartments, and all her things and what she looked like. And it just can't quite realize that she's not actually there. And I think it won't really hit home for me until I go home to visit my sisters in Kincardine once the travel restrictions are opened up. Um, I think that's when it'll feel real to me. So, yeah, I guess why I'm posting this video is, I guess, just to start a conversation with maybe with other people that are going through this too, so that we could share in that together. So maybe we feel a little less isolated. Or for people who have had mothers pass away, or gone through the grieving process. I mean, maybe you have some advice for me and other people like me, um, to help us kind of figure this thing out. Like, I don't know what to expect. So now, I guess I'm a little bit, I think I'm a little bit lucky in that I wasn't extremely close to my mom the way a lot of daughters or sons are with their moms. And so it makes it a little bit easier for me. I have another friend whose dad passed away at Easter, and she sounds like she's really sad about it. Um, so, I mean, I guess it's a little bit easier for me that our family isn't as close as what some are. But I think what was really nice the last few years with my mom, I feel like we had gotten closer. We had a more positive relationship, and I was really enjoying that. It was kind of neat to know her on her own without my dad, as much as she missed him and loved him and kind of talked with him every day since he passed away. It was just interesting to see what she was like on her own. And she was actually a little bit more positive. It was interesting to see, like, more sad, but more more positive and more a little bit more calm and herself and a lot more communicative. So it was really nice to share that with her and to share stories about the family and to look at photo albums and to look through little like books and things that they had, and just sort of reminisce, and be able to be there to be a support for her in whatever little way I could as, the daughter who lived farther away. I would help in whatever way I could. And it was just nice to kind of have a friendship with her. And I wasn't ready for that to be over yet because it was nice to get to that place where we could do that. Um, so yeah, I guess in my loneliness, I mean, I do call my sisters and we talk, and that really helps to talk to them. And I guess it's kind of weird to talk to my webcam and to a bunch of people out there that maybe know me through work or friendships, or maybe don't know me at all. And I know it's kind of a strange thing about the society we live in today, where we live sometimes online. And normally I'm really private, about my personal life. And I choose to just share, advice, for students of mine. I'm a portfolio, coach and an art teacher. And so my life online is usually just around art and supporting students, and it's not about me and my life. Um, but I don't know. I just feel like in this isolation, I need to do something, and I'm thinking that there's other people like me that are also kind of at the stay-at-home order and largely by yourselves. And maybe you've experienced a loss, and maybe we can encourage each other. And so I guess I'm looking for support, ideas, co-supporting, from anybody out there that does feel the need to share, and use this thing called YouTube and, social media, where maybe it can be used in a positive way, right? I mean, I love YouTubers um, and people out there that are reaching out, doing good things, to help each other through these, times. I really love to see that. And, um, the death of my mom, like I've shared before, got me painting again because I am a professional artist, but I rarely paint. I'm always teaching, working, doing stuff, and, I'm a single parent, so like I have to work a lot in order to, support my daughter. And, one thing that's kind of good about this time of the stay at home, um, order is it's given me a little bit of time to be able to grieve. It's given me time to be able to paint. And because I just really didn't know what to do with myself when my mom died and we couldn't have a funeral, um, I decided to paint her favorite flower, their carnation. And, so that gave me something, kind of a place to put some energy, to put thoughts of her. So as I was painting the carnations, I was thinking about her, and that song, Pink Carnation in a White Sport Coat, it kept playing in my mind, which was, a song she knew and loved too, because it's certainly from her era when she was younger and listening to music a lot. So it was kind of fun to do that. And I decided to finally start this channel I've been wanting to start, called Opening Lives with Art. And, so I'm here wanting to share with people in how do we open ourselves up. And I think, like, open ourselves through the creative process and a willingness to share, as important as privacy is. And I'm not the one who really wants to share a ton of stuff on social media. Usually like I said, it's usually more work related. I think I need to open up. I need to open up emotionally. I need to connect more. I think as a single parent, I spend a lot of time by myself, and I like my time by myself, but it's also a little lonely. And when you work a lot as a single parent, it's hard to have time for friendships. And I keep changing kind of and evolving who I am, and what would I look for out of friendships? Um, but I think what I need the most is a relationship with myself that isn't just about work and isn't just about me and my daughter. Um, I need a relationship with my creativity again because it's been kind of shut down. And here I'm always helping people how to be creative and how to develop themselves creatively as a portfolio coach and an art and college teacher. What about that for me? And I was just wondering, there's probably a lot of other people out there that are like me, that, you work a lot, you don't have time or you don't make the time for yourself. Because it's interesting, like both of my sisters, you know, um, they work. Actually, one just retired, but before that, she was always working a lot and taking care of my mother and taking care of her house. My other sister's a very busy accountant, and they find time to paint. You know, I'm the one who went to art school, and they are self-taught artists. Um, but I don't make the time to paint. Like I need to make a change for me, and I'm wondering if some of you are feeling that. And with the stay-at-home order, we actually do have the time, and maybe we could start to make that habit of using our creativity and developing our creativity and developing the relationship with ourselves. And maybe you're a woman, who also works a lot like me, or a guy. This isn't a channel just for women. you know um so I think that women certainly connect and understand each other, but there's so many people who get out of touch with their creativity and end up spending much of their time working, and just fulfilling obligations to various things in their lives. And I think it's important to have that commitment to ourselves. And so that's why I created Opening Lives at last, although it's been years that I've wanted to do it. And so thanks to, my mom passing at this time, it got me painting again. So on Mother's Day, Mom, I miss you. And thank you for helping me paint again by trying to remember you and your favorite flowers. And right behind me here, these flowers. uh, my aunt gave me a huge mixed bouquet of flowers, and they were lovely. And they lasted about a week. And long after all of the other blossoms wilted and dried up, the carnations are still going strong. Um, I mean, they're not my mom's favorite color or type of carnation, but they're still a carnation. I can understand why she loved them so much. So it's kind of a nice reminder that, um, you know, whatever relationship and love we had, and we did tell each other we loved each other all the time. Um, it reminds me of that lasting power of love. So hopefully it does for you too. And so I look forward to engaging with anybody's interested in this kind of thing. I'm interested to hear your stories, interested to hear your advice. And I'm going to be doing a bunch of videos about creativity and how to open that up and to go through that process along with you as I embark on that process. So I hope that you'll join me again and maybe we can have some conversations together about life and living through the COVID-19 pandemic, and how art can be a part of that, can be used. I really believe that art has healing properties, like to engage in it is an opportunity to heal and to get in touch with aspects of yourself. And I watch a lot of YouTubers who love to share and talk and just be themselves. And I think it's a wonderful medium to be able to do that. And I'm so impressed. There's so many great YouTubers out there that do that. And I think it's an unusual time that where people like to just tune in to hear people's stories and to listen to them share from their heart who they are. So this is me doing my thing, and maybe you're listening, and maybe you left minutes ago. But for those of you that are sticking around, would you please reach out to me and tell me some of your stories? And I would love to do some Zoom calls with some of you. So if you are sticking around to the end now and you would like to have a conversation with me, maybe about someone that you've lost and you want a place to maybe share about your loved one's favorite flower or a story, um, or maybe, like I said, advice, anything like that. Maybe there's something about you and your creative self in the things that you do that might be able to help others that might be going through this as well. And we could do some Zoom calls and have a conversation. So I would love to open up individual conversations over Zoom that we could record and share with others, or to put on some group calls so that we can share and support each other through this time of feeling isolated, maybe having lost somebody or just missing family, and wanting to connect and do something creative together to help us through that process. So, thank you for listening if you stayed to the end. And I hope to be talking with you again soon and creating with you. Bye for now. It's Karen from Opening Lives with Art.